What's up, folks? So the awesome people over at Master Speed were kind enough to send me one of the newest things that they offer for the Focus ST platform, which is the Front Strut Tower Bar. All right, and how this bar works is it connects the two front strut towers of the suspension. So basically, the top of each coilover are connected by a factory strut tower bar, which is pretty thin, and this one is a lot thicker, as you can see, and a lot more rigid. So it'll add, more durability. It'll add some chassis stiffness and bracing, and it will prevent those strut towers from flexing essentially in a high speed or high G turn. Now, I already have the rear strut tower bar, which is in the rear of the car. Excuse the dirty trunk. So this is Massive Speed's rear bar, and as you can see, it's absolutely huge. It's got 8 mounting points, 4 on each side, 4 points on each side. And this helped to really bring together and stiffen up, this large part of the large opening of the chassis here. So, I'm really looking forward to how this bar ties in the front suspension and makes everything nice and tight. So I'm going to go ahead and slap on the bar, and then I've got 2 days. Today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday I've got autocross, so I'm going to give it, a thorough thrashing then too. And I'll let you guys know how it does. I have nothing but high expectations. Massive Speed always puts out a good product. I have their front and rear sway bar end links. And as I showed you, I do have the rear trunk bar. So, this is the final piece of the puzzle, which is going up front. Okay, guys, so just a little bit of a further in-depth look. So, this is the stock front strut tower bar. All right. This is a strut tower, and right under there is your coilover. I obviously have aftermarket coilovers. These are D2 suspension. But so this strut bar right here ties the two front strut towers together. The other one's over there on that side, okay? And it also ties the chassis into the entire geometry of the setup. So you have 3 points of stability and bracing with the stock strut tower bar. However, the stock bar is pretty thin. As you can see, it's just stamped steel. Okay. It's but it is effective. All right, and a lot of people compete with just the stock front bar and do well. However, so the people at Massive Speed were like, well, let's just improve upon the system, because a lot of the competitors require you to get rid of this bar. But Massive Speed's like, no, there is good engineering that goes into this bar. Let's just improve upon the system. So what you got to do is take their bar and you're going to add it to the existing bar. So it's going to sit something like this. As you can see, I have the holes lined up. It's going to sit somewhat like this and go straight across. And it's going to add that second level, that second layer of stability and strength to the front end of the car. So, all right, now I'm just going to take those bolts off, put this bar on, tighten everything back up, and we'll see how she sits. Okay, guys, so I finally got the bar on. That was a tight fit, not gonna lie. But you want it to be like that, or else it's not gonna do its job, obviously. So I have the car on jack stands because from what I've been told and what I've read, you're supposed to install suspension pieces when the car is unloaded, when the suspension is unloaded. That way, when you install the bar and you drop the car, the bar now is under tension at all times with the car sitting on the ground. Anyway, the bar is on, as you can see, okay? it goes over the existing sway bar. I'm sorry, the existing stock strut bar. This was slightly difficult to get on, and I'm going to tell you why. Like I said, the bar is really stiff by design. So how I suggest you put it on is you first line up these two holes on this side and on that side, the inner holes, okay? Start screwing the nuts on. If this is your setup, I have aftermarket coilovers, so this is my setup. But start right here. Once you have both of the two inner holes done, on one side, you know, pick this side, start screwing on the back hole, tighten that side up, and that will bring this side down. Because if you try to do all four at once, you know, unless you have like a brand new car with, you know, no other suspension or chassis modifications, you're most likely going to have a hard time getting this bar on, just because I've done so many modifications to this car. It's got 130 something thousand miles on it. You know, the chassis is not what it was from the factory. So just a word to the wise. Maybe you won't need to do that. If you don't need to, that's great. But that's my suggestion. So now all I have to do is put this cowling back on that goes right under here and take it for a test drive. So, the final scoop about the front strut bar, the massive speed front strut bar. I will say it is absolutely awesome. After a full, thorough thrashing at Autocross, it is still 100% secured to the car. I just shook it, and it's not loose at all. I could definitely tell while I was out there twisting around the cones, you know, and spinning tires, that the steering response was immediate. That's the biggest thing you're going to gain from this, is steering response and the traction of both front wheels being pressed and held down to the ground by the tension on this bar. It's amazing, really it is. It's really awesome. Now remember guys, I also have the rear trunk bar, Massive Speed's rear trunk bar, as well as the front strut bar. And I have front and rear sway bars and full suspension. So I'm kind of tapped out on suspension mods for the time being. So those of you who might be stock or have less suspension mods than me, you'll probably notice an even bigger difference. You know, so if I noticed a large difference with everything that I have done, I even have motor mounts, then people with less stuff on their car than mine should notice an even bigger difference. So yeah, you know, huge shout out to Massive Speed. Once again, you guys over there, team over there has killed it. Great product. I can't say enough things about your bar. Like I said, at high speeds, high G, high load turns, you can really feel the immediate instant steering response that just wasn't there with only the stock thin bar. So hate to repeat myself, but I will one more time. If you're on the edge, if you're on the fence about buying this bar, just go ahead and get it. And while you're at it, go on, and I'll show you one more time, go on and get the rear trunk bar as well, okay? Go on and get this bar, also by Massive Speed, all right? And just throw all of them on, both of them on at the same time. That way you get the best amount of you know, chassis bracing. You kill all the chassis flex, and you can just put the power to the ground with this platform. I believe they offer it not only for the Focus ST, but also the Focus RS, and I believe they offer some stuff for the Fiesta ST as well. Don't quote me. But Massive Speed is always the way to go when you want your chassis bracing and you want it done right. Once again, huge shout out to the people over at Massive Speed. Thanks again, everybody watching the video. Y'all know where to find me. I'm gonna keep putting this car through the ringer. All right, so YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, get at me. See y'all later.